This is usually how it goes. We set a goal, we set an intention. We want to attract a new friendship, a relationship. We want to grow our business. We want to make more money. We want this launch to be our most successful launch than we've ever had before. And then at the first sign of struggle, do you get upset and then give up? Or do you get upset and then take your foot off the gas because it feels uncomfortable and nothing's working? Do you start spinning into overwhelm and self-doubt? And I guess this isn't possible. And there's no good guys left out there. And I guess people just don't want to buy my stuff. And maybe it's the economy. Maybe I don't have what it takes. Maybe I don't know what I'm doing. I've done it many times. These things and situations that look like setbacks in the moment, they even will look like evidence that this isn't possible for you, that it isn't going to happen. Like you're getting the reverse of wanting a sign. You actually start believing you're getting signs that are saying, don't do this, danger, danger. This isn't working. This isn't for you. This is not the time. It is in these critical times and these moments where you have the biggest and most powerful manifesting opportunity to have faith, to dig in and deeply believe this is happening for you and this is possible, instead of you folding in and walking away. Setbacks are a test of your faith, your true desire for your manifestation. How else would we know how badly we want something until it feels like it's being taken away? If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is designed to help you grow in your business, your bank account, your brain, your relationships, your abundance, all of it. And spring has officially sprung, unless you're in the frozen tundra of Canada. Shout out to my Canadians, where it's a constant state of snow and blizzard conditions. Spring into abundance, releasing your subconscious resistance to getting what you want. The reason why what you want feels so far away, in fact, it can even seem like you're getting signs and evidence of the contrary, that you're not going to get it, like it's not working, like it's not meant for you, like it's never going to happen, like it's not your thing and it's not your vibe. You might be in that state. And the reason why that continues to happen for you is because you are gripping on to this resistance in your nervous system that you may or may not be aware of. And our body doesn't lie. Our brains will lie. Our hearts certainly will lie, but our bodies don't. So if you're feeling constipated, literally, you're feeling tight, you're feeling sore, your joints feel stiff, you feel sick, you feel run down, you feel depleted, you have brain fog. I'm not saying you don't have other medical conditions going on. I mean, I'm not Dr. Carter, although, I could play one if someone paid me enough. It's because you are in a fear state. Resistance is a form of fear. We can want something and also be resistant to it because it's actually mind-blowingly vulnerable to really, really want something, whether it's in our personal life, our professional life, our financial life, our health life. Because when you really want it and there's always a chance it's not going to happen because we're not in complete control in life. Newsflash, right? If it doesn't happen, there's a divine reason for it, and it might not happen. And maybe you have experiences from childhood or at other points in your life where you've been blindsided by things, or you really wanted to win something and you did everything in your power and you still came in third place, and how devastating that was. And then our nervous systems hold on to all of this, even if it was like getting an A on a paper and you thought you were going to get an A and then you get it back and it was a C and that was really your best work. It doesn't feel good. It sucks. That's part of why it took me 10 years to really go all in on ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the business coaching brand and podcast, because it was something I wanted so badly, and it felt less scary to continue to toe dip and mess around than to really go for it. And when I say really go for something, I mean you are deciding that without a doubt, this is happening for you, and that you are going to put all the chips in and do it. And you're going to keep showing up until it happens. Period. End of story. And you are passionate about it. You're dead set on it. You're emphatic about it. You've decided. And until you've hit that point, it's not going to happen, because you're trying to have it both ways. You're trying to get the thing, whether it's growing your business, whether it's making more money, whether it's finding your dream relationship, whether it's feeling better in your body. You're trying to get the thing while also staying safe and appeasing your ego and appeasing your nervous system. It's just not possible. So we've got to take a look at, what are you resisting? Are you resisting potential disappointment in case you put in money, time, effort, heart, and energy and it doesn't work, and how crappy that will feel? Are you resisting because of that? Are you resisting because there's this part of you, there's this tickle in your brain, there's this inner bully going on that you're really not sure if you're qualified to do this, or maybe you're kind of a fraud, or you're not totally sure if you have what it takes, and maybe you're delusional, maybe what you're dreaming of is really far-fetched, and maybe you have some toxic people in your life who are telling you some shit. Or maybe they're not currently in your life, but they are renting room for free inside that brain of yours, where it's like, who do you think you are? Where I get that voice, which I've named her Susie. No offense to my Susie listeners, but Susie's a bitch. Like, who do you think you are doing this? Like, why do you think that your show is going to grow to 100 million downloads? Like, there's other people that are more interesting than you. Like, you must be so narcissistic, Tiffany, to think that all these people would want to listen to you. It's nasty up in there. And that continues to hold us back. And here are ways how it shows up. Okay, I'm going to give you some examples from my own life. And then I have some examples from my clients' lives that I know you'll be able to relate to. This is a true story. Just after I gave my 2 weeks notice to leave my corporate job and go full-time into my first business, which, by the way, was during the full-blown economic crash of that, I think that was like 2008 time period. Okay, so I had the media, the news industry saying, alert, 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 scarcity messages, like a lot of you are seeing now. I was getting it from people around me. And I had almost every single person I knew in my life who were close to me, or were even clients, or were friends of friends or colleagues. Everyone thought I was crazy. And I still was like, no, I'm going to go for this. I can't be in this corporate job anymore. I can't continue to make these people more and more money while I am receiving less and less. I'm going to do this damn thing. So just after I gave my 2-week notice to leave this corporate job, my corporate career, and go full-time into my business, I got told no by at least 10 potential clients in a row. 10 no's. Now, let me put this in perspective for you. That business of mine, which I still have, it's an 8-figure business now. Those are B2B. Those are corporate clients where you have to do like full presentations, often fly out, do the presentation in person. It takes a lot of time, effort, and energy to land these kinds of clients. So imagine doing customized presentations, then flying somewhere on my dime, not theirs. So I'm flying there, I'm paying for a hotel, all my energy, all of that. And these were not like cold random leads. These were people where I had an in, I had a foot in the door, where I had a very, very strong chance of getting a yes and got told no by 10 different potential clients in a row. This left me spinning into like, oh my God, did I just make the biggest mistake of my life? Like, who am I to think I could be an entrepreneur? I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Who am I to do this? God, was this just a dream? And I kind of like built myself up and thought I could do it. And now I'm going to fail. Most businesses do fail. And now am I just one of those failures? And now I'm going to have to go back to corporate life and wearing leg prison pantsuits. And this is just what it's going to be. So I had a choice to make at that point. Do I throw in the towel and low key beg for my job back? Or do I persevere and accept the fact that not everything is going to go to my plan? Not everything is going to work out in the pretty Pollyanna way. It doesn't happen with marriage. It doesn't happen with having kids. It doesn't happen with weight loss in our bodies. It doesn't happen with anything. It certainly doesn't happen in business. It certainly doesn't happen with money. It doesn't happen when we move. Big things and small things. It doesn't happen. And when we're putting so much on the line, whether it's our heart, our business, our vulnerability, whatever, we're putting so much on the line. We want, as human beings, we want every single sign and everything that happens to be validating us that we're doing the right thing. We want all the yeses. We want all the cash to come through. We want all the transactions. We want all the views. We want all the likes. We want all of it. Because then it's like, see, okay, that feels good. More dopamine. See, I took a risk and I'm being rewarded. Risk and reward. Yeah, that ain't how it works. That's not how life works. In fact, what really happens when we go after the things that we deeply want, not the stuff that we're like doing because we're living someone else's dream or following the status quo of what we're supposed to do. I'm talking about the shit that we deeply want that would make us feel like we're free and so fulfilling and just so abundant and beautiful. That shit. You know what happens? The universe, God, your higher power, ends up testing us to see how bad you want it. Because if it didn't test us to see how bad we wanted it, how bad do we, like, how important is it to us anyway? It's like, you really don't know how badly you want something to work until you start feeling like, hey, this might not happen. Like going and getting a publishing deal for a book and getting rejected. It made so many authors just want it more and be more and more hungry and be more and more determined with every no that happened. But then there is a giant percentage of people where that first no, they were like, see, no, well, I guess I'm not supposed to do this. See, or take months before they go and submit it to another publisher. That would have been like every podcast episode I put out. If I didn't all of a sudden have viral episodes and thousands of downloads like I have today. Oh, well, I mean, I don't really want to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. And then you start losing motivation because you're being dependent on the external validation. And I'm not saying this to blame or shame you. This is how we're wired. Of course we want all the signs. Of course we want everything to be a green light. Yes, that feels amazing, but there's a reason why there are red lights. There's a reason why there are green flags and red flags. There is a reason there's a caution light. We have to have that law of polarity, because when something feels like it's not happening, or someone tells us we can't, or someone says no, or someone says not right now, it really is a test of how badly we want to manifest this into our lives. But what often happens is people are so dependent externally on that validation that you end up taking your foot off the gas, posting less. Oh, I can't think of anything to say, procrastinating more, which is fear in disguise, getting overwhelmed and getting in a spin cycle, starting to come up with some shit. I don't know if my niche is right. Maybe I'm not niched enough. Maybe I need to start doing this. That whole overthinking, overanalyzing thing is also your resistance, is also your fear in disguise. So I had a choice to make, right? Did I go and low-key beg for my job back, or did I persevere and accept the fact that nothing is ever going to always go my way? Period. What would you say to a kid where they studied so hard for a test and they gave it their all and they still didn't get an A? That's okay. Yeah, it sucks. It stings. It's painful. It's irritating. It's frustrating. It's all the things. But not everything is going to go exactly to plan and how you want it to go, even if you give your absolute best effort. When I finally started my podcast after 10 years of being stuck in this resistance I'm talking to you about today, even after 4 months of twice weekly episodes, hiring a top podcast producer, and being, remember, a professionally trained journalist, almost no one was listening, truly. And I had a choice to make. Again, do I throw in the towel and cut my losses? Or do I persevere and continue to show up until it works? Most people take their foot off the gas, and then what happens is they're like, oh, maybe I'll go down to one episode, or, oh, I didn't feel good this week, so I didn't put that episode out, or you kind of didn't go after the guest you wanted to go after or give it your all because no one's really listening anyway. Then you create a self-fulfilling prophecy of, see, it's not working, but you don't realize you're doing it. And because you've taken your foot off the gas, and because you're trying to shield your heart and protect yourself from further hurt and pain and disappointment, you're creating a more of a barrier of you being able to manifest the abundance you want. And then all you're seeing is confirmation bias. See, there weren't more downloads this week. See, there aren't more reviews of the show. See, I'm not getting more views on my stuff. See, no one else bought today. See. Because you see what you start thinking is going to happen, you end up seeing, and you end up manifesting it. And that's how that happens, because you've taken your foot off the gas. So you've got to ask yourself the question when you start getting into that fear, and maybe I just caught you in that fear loop right now. A lot of people are in it right now. And I want you to use this new fresh month. It's a fresh quarter. We are already 3 months plus deep into 2023. We're in quarter 2, Q2. What are you going to do? Are you going to persevere? Are you going to show up regardless? Are you going to spring into abundance? Or are you going to sit and sink into the deprivation, into the discouragement, into the disappointment, into the distraction of all of that? Or are we going to rise up? And this is the perfect time to rise up. And I want you to ask yourself the question: what would the abundant version of me do? What would the version of me do who is determined and resilient to show up regardless for my dream, for my vision for myself, for my vision for my family, for my vision for my life, for what I truly want out of this short, precious life where we don't know how much time we have here? What would that version of you do? Would that version of you get so knocked off over 10 no's where you're like, I'm folding in, I'm not doing the business, I'm going to take the whole summer off. Well, I'm certainly not going to invest more into my business because my last investment didn't pay off. Would that be what your most abundant version of you would do? Hell no. Your most abundant version will be, okay, that didn't work. Let's make an assessment of it. That's not working. And we're going to show up until, and what can we do? What can we invest in that's going to help us? And I don't just mean invest in with money. I mean your time, your energy, your heart. What can I do? What can I invest in that is going to be contrary action to sitting back and having that confirmation bias that it isn't working? What would the version of you do if you were getting all the signs that it was working? If you were getting all the signs it was working, would you have any resistance to hiring me as your coach? Would you have any resistance in joining my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, which has a spring mega bonus sale right now, where you get my content creation made easy course bundle for free when you join? So this is worth several $100s, and you get that for free when you join. Remember, the Posse's only $100 a month. Your first month is $150, then it's $100 after that. And it's month to month, and you can cancel at any time you won't want to. You can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse and get all the details and see all the reviews from all the people who love it. I have people who've been in this membership for 3 years, like a lot of people, die hard, because not only are you getting the strategy, but you're also getting the support. It's like an emotional support community for entrepreneurs where you have other people who understand where you're at and how you're feeling and what you're going through to get you through these resistance points. And if you don't have support set up to get you through these resistance points, when things flop, when you hit a roadblock, when you hit a pothole, when you make a mistake, when things aren't happening and they continue to not work, if you don't have that support, you will absolutely take your foot off the gas and cause that self-fulfilling prophecy to the point where I've seen many, many people quit over it. And not on my watch. So what I have going on in the Posse is we are doing a special live training series to attract that money in that you want and remove the sludge that is holding you back. You have a bunch of, it's like a pipe that has a bunch of sludge and built up crap in it. There's tree branches in there and slime. And we've got to clean that out. If we don't clean that out, if you don't make a point of cleaning out that pipe and certain other things in your house, you get so much buildup. How would any abundance flow through? How would any abundant thoughts flow through? How would any abundant creative ideas flow through? How could you possibly have room and capacity to hold incredible opportunities and more cash if you're so filled with this gunk? It's like how you have to descale a coffee maker. We got to descale that brain of yours that is a container and has been absorbing all this negative crap about the economy. You're taking in other people's scarcity thoughts, then you're building upon those yourself. And now we got a whole mix mash of nasty, lacking scarcity sludge in there. And we got to clean that out. So that's what's going on inside the Posse right now. And of course, you have a library of well over 200 live trainings on all the things. So you know where to go. You can swipe up. It's also in the show notes. But the only way to get my content creation made easy course bundle, you can't buy that separately. This is the only way to get it, is when I do offer it as a special bonus once in a great while, and this is one of those times. This sucks. It's uncomfortable. It's messy. It's vulnerable as fuck. And this is why 98% of people quit before they really have given their dream business, life, body, relationship a real chance. Success requires you to show up regardless for what you want. And that is the hardest part. It really is. But that's where we strengthen that faith muscle. I have this going on right now in an area of my personal life. And I made a decision, and you can replace this decision, this story I'm about to tell you, you can replace it with anything in your life at any level, and it'll land with you. So I made a decision, because that's what it all starts with, right? It starts with maybe having a vision, a dream, an intention, and then it's a decision to go forth, and then it's taking action, which a lot of people get stuck between decision and action. I don't get stuck there. It's what happens after the action and after I don't get that external validation when I want it, when my ego desires it, and then I can spin out. If I didn't have the tools I'm teaching you here today, and if I didn't have the support to keep me from losing my damn mind. So I decided I wanted to up-level my beach house. Where I'm at now is beautiful. What I pay per month is still blows my mind because, I mean, it would have taken me almost an entire year at one point to be able to make what I pay per month. But I want to up level it because, and I won't give it all away, but I am going to be doing some very unique live events where you can buy tickets to, and you'd be coming to my beach house. You're not staying overnight, so don't get that excited. My team would stay overnight. But I need to have a different level of beach house, a different layout for that to work. And I have been manifesting it. I've been envisioning it. I've been going to open houses, doing all the things. And I had to make the decision of not re-signing a lease here. And so I've made that decision. And here I thought I found the place in writing, not in a contract, but in an email exchange in writing. It literally said, like, we have a deal. Because newsflash, which I didn't know this, in the luxury house rental market, it's very similar to buying a house. You negotiate. There's lots of nonsense. They want things like your fingerprints. I mean, it gets crazy. So I thought I had the place, and I was like, all is working out in my favor. I'm expanding to my next level of manifestation. And it felt so good. Then I wake up the next morning, the day before I'm leaving to go to Mexico, because I was like excited. I'm getting on the plane, all high vibe about it. And I get an email, and it all fell apart without like boring you with all the details. It all blew up, like totally sidewhacked. I was completely shocked. And yeah, I mean, it did spin me. And then I did have the thought of, God, maybe I should have renewed my lease here. Oh my God, now I don't have a place. I mean, I do have a place to live. I can go to the other house, but now I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? Now I'm not finding anything. And then I started obsessively looking and searching, right? Just becoming just a total freakazoid about it. And all I kept seeing were shit places that didn't fit the profile of what I wanted. More shit and more shit and more shit. This is the confirmation bias I'm talking about. And I had to catch myself. Thank God that trip was planned, because I had to catch myself and go, oh my God, you have to stop and regroup. What would your most abundant self say to you right now? What would she do? And she would not settle for anything less that she wanted. She would know for sure it's out there. It is, in fact, going to happen. And we don't need to keep searching out of that energy, out of that scarcity energy, which would be pining for something, obsessing over something. It's kind of like when you guys keep refreshing to see how many views on your TikToks or Reels. Like, we don't need to do that. That's not what the abundant version of you do. The abundant version of you, the abundant version of me would still take action, but I'd be taking action out of without an attachment. It'd be detached action. Let's see if there's anything new on the market. Let's see if there's anything that delights me that I would like to see today. And if it's not here today, I know it's coming. I'm confident it's coming tomorrow. The most abundant version of me would trust the 3 people who I've enlisted to help me find this perfect place, and trust that they're doing their part, and then I do my part and check in once in a while. Now, do I have this place yet as of this minute today, as of this recording? No, not yet, but I'm choosing to stay in the energy of abundance, that it is without a doubt happening. This is all working out for the greatest good of all involved, and continuing to reinforce that energy, because the other energy of, oh my God, it's not working. I've got to make it work. Let me look over here. Oh my God, see, it's not working. See, it's not going to happen. See, I can't make this work. See, oh my God, see, I wasted my money again. See, I'm not showing up for myself again. See, I never follow through on everything. Well, then it's certain it won't work. That's one sure way to make sure that it won't work, would be to be in that energy. So ask yourself that question. What would my most abundant version of me say to myself right now? And you can do that 5 days from now, 20 weeks from now, whatever. You come back to this question and this episode. And the second thing would be, what would the version of me, what action would I take if I was getting all the clear external validation and evidence and proof that this is working? If all that was happening, what would be the next thing I would take? That is taking action in faith. That is what's required to get on the other side, to co-create with the universe, to have these things manifest. But you're wanting to have it proven to you, and then you'll have faith. Believe me, I would like that too. Our egos want that too. That'd be great. Doesn't work like that. You've got to show that you have the faith and you're going to move forward in action and persevere anyway. And then the reward is there, but not until you have faith. And the more you're lacking in faith and the more you're in scarcity, the more that faith is going to be tested. And I've been there many, many times. It sucks, and it's part of the process. And the fastest way to get to the other side is to surrender and intentionally operate out of your most abundant self, not that scarcity ego mind. If you love this episode, please leave me a 5-star written review on Apple Podcasts. This is what helps the show grow. This is what you can do to show your abundance and pay forward to someone else who might need this episode. Share this episode. By you leaving a review, it helps other people find this show and find these episodes that can really make a difference in their life. And this is acting in accordance with abundance and would help me so much. Come join us in the posse. Even if you came for 1 month, you'll stay for longer, but come for 1 month, check it out, see what it's all about, explore. If you're feeling like you want to lean in, swipe up. The link is in the bio and you can check out all the details, or go to projectmewithtiffany.com/ProjectMe Posse. And as always, wishing you great health, wealth, and worth. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.